Okay, I've never been in, so.
It's
what-
nice.
It's nice.
It is nice.
I like
Yeah. Most of all is not.
Like, does it have really good ventilation? 'Cause it was built in like 1913.
Right, but they've done a lot of renovations and they've done a lot of painting and moving of furniture, so they don't feel like it.
Okay.
Lead paint on the walls.
They don't feel like it. No.
All the the walls.
But I will say this, so if you call down to Michelle Sheets, if you call the Oxford office and you talk to her, she can give you a virtual tour of the building. She has such amazing language. She's there, really the staff down there, they're actually coming out next Thursday to do some work with us. They are fantastic, we love them all. We go down there, they come up here, there's a really great relationship between the residents' life staffs as well. But I've only been in there a handful of times, and so I probably couldn't give you specifics, but I think it looks nice.
Okay, if we ever have to get something fixed, do we ever have to pay, or like, if we do have to pay, what do we have to pay for?
So the only thing you would have to pay for is if you broke something intentionally. Right, so if like you picked up your chair and slammed on the ground and it broke, then yes. But anything that happens is a function of wear and tear or regular living, it's all taken care of. Good question. And if you damage you put a fist in the wall or you nail a poster up with nails or something and those come out, you will have to pay for the repair of those things. But like in terms of breakage, or if a light were to go out, or your blinds, something happens to your blinds or whatever, like that's not, unless you broke it yourself, it would not be. And even if you accidentally did it, like if you were sitting down and you accidentally backed into something and it broke, then we wouldn't hold you accountable for that. It would only be if it was an intentional breakage. I don't know if that's a word.
If you live far from Georgia, what is the policy? Like, do I have to vacate over Thanksgiving and fall break and all of those things?
Not Thanksgiving, but winter and summer are the only times.
Like, what do you mean winter? Do you mean between semesters?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. So from December to January, and then from May to August.
Otherwise, like, I don't have to submit in writing that I'm staying on campus between breaks and all that.
We'll ask you, and
Yeah.
and the only reason we ask you is so that we know who's here, because there isn't a lot of people here during those breaks,
Yeah.
and so we just want to make sure we know where people are.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, you only have to go home during the times when there's breaks in school.
Okay.
And then we'll go here, and then we'll go back over there.
I don't know if this applies to residents but if you pay for parking at Oxford, do you have to pay when you park here if you're coming?
That's an awesome question, and one that I have no idea how to answer. Here's what I can tell you, which is the one thing that I tell everybody, which is exciting, is that after 4 o'clock, you can park wherever you want.
Okay.
That is exciting.
So if you're coming up from Oxford and you're coming after 4, you can pull into any parking garage or any armed pay lot that you want. I don't know about during the day,
Okay.
but I would imagine the answer to that is probably no.
Okay.
It's also, though, for those of you who are going down, I think you can go to Oxford and park there. So, because there seems to be lots and lots of parking.
Say you had a free weekend and you just felt like going to the mall. How would you do that? How would you get to it now?
Well, there's a couple of ways. So the Cliff Shuttle will get you to MARTA, and then MARTA can get you pretty much anywhere downtown. If you're going to go out to the suburbs and stuff, that's going to be a little bit more challenging. But MARTA can get you to Lenox and the big malls that are sort of in the sort of metro downtown area. And then there's also a Toco Hills shuttle from Woodruff that can take you into Toco Hills, and so there's shopping and things of that nature there. Much more sort of essentials there. There's not sort of clothes and stuff, but groceries or frozen yogurt or those sort of essentials. Well, I know Kroger, there's also Brewster's ice cream, so that's essential. If you're here to go there, but yeah. So if you take the Cliff Shuttle, you can take the Cliff Shuttle to the Lindbergh Station, and Lindbergh Station you can almost get anywhere on Monday days. Is there another hand over here? Okay. So we'll go back. We'll start in the front. Go back.
Okay. So I submitted a leadership request about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is there any way I could use
experts to expedite that process?
No, sir. I mean, you could. It's not going to get you anywhere. Because, so there, I mean, you know, there's a lot. Since the assignments just went out, you know, sort of, our assignments folks are inundated with folks who are trying to switch, but they're working through them. So I promise you that they will get to you. You know, it's, with our upperclassmen, it's a little bit different because of the fact that there's some sort of flexibility in space, but we really don't have a whole lot of flexibility with our first year students, and so that's why it's a slow process.
Will they tell me if my request gets denied?
They will. They will. They will. And I know that, like, I just left them there and they were working on them. So, I mean, they're working on them every day. There's just, you know, there's a lot of them. So, I will say this. I will say I wouldn't badger them, but there's no reason why you can't let them know you're there. Right? You can be assertive and say, hey, I sent this in 3 weeks ago. I just want to know where it's at. And usually they'll respond to you.
You mentioned push pins in the wall or nails in the wall.
Okay. Well, I mentioned it only as a bad thing. Push pins, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to clarify, like at Oxford, we're not allowed to put tape on the wall to tape up posters, but are we allowed to put push pins in the wall? Like,
I don't know officially at Oxford. I know here, so I'll talk to Michelle and get clarification. But I think here we allow blue tape, so it's like painter's tape, right? So it doesn't take tape off, and so that's what we tell our students to put in their walls is blue tape. Yeah. We don't like push pins or nails. That means repainting. Anything that makes a hole to be fixed.
Unless you're good at spackling.
Right. No, we don't want you to fix push pins.
I submitted my ID picture and it was approved and everything. So when I walk into my hall on the first day, will it be there?
It will. It should be. It'll be picked up the day you move in. Your ID will be there.
So at the front in the hall?
I'm not exactly sure, but it will be on campus, and we'll have a set. There'll be directions as to where to get it.
All right.
So it'll be,
Also, I've heard something about some type of storage.
see that would you would have to pay for.
Some type of storage on campus for people who live far.
It's not storage on campus, but we have an approved storage vendor well, I should say endorsed storage vendor. There are lots of storage vendors you can go with. It doesn't have to go with the endorsement, but RHA does a series of vendor reviews over the year, and then they sort of give their endorsements. These are the people who are serving and they feel the best. And so it's UPS storage, and so they are available to store your stuff off-site, but they'll come and get it from your room and take it off and then bring it back to you. And that's, yeah.
Okay, this is a safety.
Hey, good. I know. Hey, good.
So, are we allowed to have like mace to attach to our keychain, or is that a no-no? No.
I mean, no one's going. I mean, I don't think anybody's. I mean, you know, the campus policies say that you're not allowed to have weapons, right? And mace is a weapon.
Okay.
But again, I don't think that. I mean, just being completely 100% candid with you, like no one's looking around for your mace can on your keychain, right? And so if that makes you feel safe and you don't abuse it, if you abuse it, you're going to be held accountable for abusing it, right? And there's going to be repercussions to using it when you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But if you have it and that makes you feel protected when you walk from one side of campus to the other, then by all means, do what you need to do. But understand that, that it is considered a weapon by the university policy, and that it's not officially allowed.
Okay, I'm not going to go around spraying people. Just like-
I didn't say you would. I'm just saying. I'm just explaining the policy. I don't see you as a sort of like serial macer. But I'm just trying to cover all the bases. So we'll go green shirt and then back.
Okay. Is pepper spray considered a weapon?
Yeah, same thing. It's sort of like Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb.
Oh, I thought.
They're not the same thing.
They're not?
They're not the same
I
thing.
just-
Right. They're not the same thing as my discount. Great not the same thing. It's about just it's a sort of like compound, right? It's just about what the
Pepper spray is a finer particle, so it can affect your you spray somebody that has asthma, they could pass.
Oh my goodness, I have asthma.
That's what I want.
Pepper spray is a little more dangerous.
and also to make to give I guess what is appropriate policy advice for that particular question, and not to tell you to have illegal weapons at your own peril, is that we do have escort services to walk you from place to place. There are EPD does patrol the campus, and again, we do have staff members on call in every single building. So I mean, I think we try really, really hard to have human helpers in place for you so that you don't feel unsafe. And if you always do, right, like the first thing we'll tell you to do when you have your hall meeting as a first year student in both places is they will give you the emergency and the non-emergency numbers for you to put them into your phone. Right? And put them into a phone interface where you can get them and access them easily. Here's also a fun fact for people who don't usually know, is that if you call 911 on your cell phone, it rings to where your cell phone carrier is located. Like if you get your phone in Chicago and you call 911 here on your phone, it rings in Chicago. It's based on your area code, not on where you're located, which seems like a really poor way to organize a system. But we will give you the EPD 911 number so that you can call it in an emergency. I didn't know it either until we figured it out last year with our pre-college student, because a situation where a student called 911 and they were from New York and they got New York. I mean, they'll transfer you to where you need to go, but
and then nothing.
Do we have access to mailboxes, and if so, where are they?
You do have access to mailboxes, and they are in the duct, in the basement of the duct. Actually, the mailroom is being renovated at the moment, and once it's done, that's where you will pick up and send your mail.
Do you have a fixed address, or how do you get a mailbox?
You go in there and just tell them who you are, and then I don't know, so that's the thing. So I don't think you have a fixed mail spot. I think you go up to a counter and you say who you are, and then they give you your mail. So it's like they have fixed places for your mail in the back. It's like a folder system. So you would go up and give them your ID, and then they would give your mail. They also then notify you if you have a package. So if you were to get a big shipment or a care package from your parents or something, you go in and they send you an email, you bring your email and your ID, and then they give you the package. And it's down, have you guys been in the duct?
Yes.
Like you go in, like you go across the little peg and just go on that floor, it's right, the mail station is right to the right.
You said printing, are there printing places like within residence halls, or are they like?
We do not have printing stations in the residence halls. I'll tell you that the real reason for that is because students tend to abuse them. Like they get mad at the copier and they kick it, or they get, or whatever, they get abusive, or for example, like someone might come home after this sort of like taboo night drinking that we talked about earlier, and decide that they want to pry open the copier and get all the paper out. You laugh at that, like I say that because that's real, like that's happened before. So what we there are printing stations in the duct, and there are printing stations in the library, and printing stations sort of placed in academic areas on campus, but we don't have printing stations. That's actually something that comes up from RHA and student government almost every year, and every year we sort of show them the statistics on what it will cost us to do it, and the damage and the maintenance and all that sort of stuff, and then it just sort of becomes too expensive for us to endeavor. But they are around campus, and I think they're enough.
Okay, what does everyone do, what does everybody do for fun? Like, on the weekends, like, when you have no work to do, you just say, like, let's just play a kickball game.
When you what? Did you say have no work to do?
When you don't feel like doing work.
I'm just making sure.
When you have no work that you're gonna do.
There you go. Much better.
It
That's
varies,
not much
right?
better.
I think it's really, whatever your interests are, I think it's, whatever your interests are in life, there's places, there's abilities for you to get involved and do those things. So if you're an outdoor person, you like to go hiking, you like to go camping, there are opportunities for that. If you like to go to the movies, and you like, the Harlan Cinema runs movies on a regular basis in the duct, so there are movies that are showing on campus. If you like to go out and have fun, there are lots of opportunities on the row that, Greek Row has parties on a regular basis, and so there's places to go there. Students will get together and go off campus and go to dinner or go to do multiple things all the time. There's lots of stuff within kind of.
There's over 600 student clubs.
Yeah.
You could not be unbusy.
And so it's just finding what you want to do, right? And there's always, and we do things all the time, whether it's running. running programs that happen in your residence halls, you know, from movie nights to a number of different things to we take trips off campus as well. So I think, you know, there are plenty of opportunities to get engaged and get involved and do whatever you think is fun. I think I have like 2 more minutes for.
Okay. When it comes to like, I don't know if we've already kind of settled the internet problem, but when like we're using our dorms, are we still going to be using like Wi-Fi? Are we using Ethernet cables? And like, what if we want to bring like a television? Like, what's going on?
That was pretty.
Trying to figure out how the second one relates to the first one, other than maybe using the internet on your TV.
Yeah.
Right. So there are 2 systems that operate in the residence hall. So every residence hall is fully wireless. There are wireless routers in every hall, and they are able for you to access them with your computer or your tablet or your smartphone or whatever piece of technology that you would like to use them. That's on Emory Unplugged. It works most of the time. Right? I'll give you the complete 100% candid view of that. Like I would say, if I had to give it a percentage, it's like 92%
We have
user friendly, right?
But that 8%.
Right, right. And I don't want to, again, I'm digressing, but there's a wonderful, like, there's a wonderful comedian, his name is Louis C.K., from Louis C.K., talks about the fact that, like, we get so impatient with technology, not really understanding, like, all the things, and, like, it has to go to space, right? Like, I mean, you know, the fact that, like, your entire building and the surrounding outside area, you can access the internet at any time, like, I think it's okay, like, 8% of the time it doesn't work, right? Because 90% of the time it does, right? So that's the kind of the thing we have to kind of deal with. When I sit in my office, I'm like, I can't do any work! It's like, yeah, well, I can work all the other 365 days of the year. This one day is really not that big of a deal. And so I think it's probably down, I think it went down a total of, like, we had one big snafu early in the year, in October, and so I think that total number of hours, including when we had a ginormous snowstorm, right, for Atlanta, and you know, there were no classes for 3 days, twice. We still had internet, right, and so.
Thank God.
Right. So I think it still works. So the second part of that is there's a second system called DooliesNet, which is where you can plug in things like your television or your Xbox, and then that is those things are able to access the internet as well. So
no need for an Ethernet cable?
No need for an Ethernet cable.
Oh, cool.
No need. Unless you want to bring one, you feel comfortable plugging it in. But I mean, the wire system's pretty great, and you know, we often, one of the things that we do on a regular basis is we do coverage walkthroughs and make sure that there aren't any places in the building that have really spotty internet coverage. And so if they do, then we pop in a new router so that we can fix that. Okay, so I'm over my time. Is there one last question? I saw another hand. I don't know, and I feel bad for you because you have a lot of Oxford questions, and I have not done really good at answering your job. But if you give me your name when you leave, I'll get you contacted with Michelle, and she can answer all of your questions. I feel terrible. And then I need to get you guys' room number in the tower so that we fix your shower, your toilet.
That would be more than 5 hours.
I will do my best.
It is actually in our side of the dorm, me and hers.
Okay.
They are roommates.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, I left my card with the exception of using it as leverage for your room change request. Feel free to contact me. Feel free to contact me with any questions that you have.
Can you expedite?
Or anything that you need. My office is in Raoul Hall. The door is mostly open. The only time is we have a brand new office space, and it's a really open office space, and so it's really loud. So the only time I really close the door is when I can't hear myself think because of other things that are happening. So please feel free to stop by, say hi. I'm friendly and I don't bite. The other thing that I put on here, you can take this or not. I'll leave these up here. I'm not going to hand them out because I don't want you to feel forced to take them. These are things we hand out for parents. So on the back, it sort of gives you an understanding of all of our professional and student staff members that work in the residence halls. On the front, which it gives you a series of dates, which are all last year's dates, which are completely unhelpful. But what is down here, I think, is the most helpful in this, is it sort of gives you all of our social media stuff. So you can go on YouTube, see our video on our YouTube channel. You can see our Twitter and our Facebook page, so that you can go and see all of the sort of social media presence and lots of pictures and stuff that we put up on the web.
5 minutes, guys, then we're coming back here.